All right, let's do this. Hey guys, this is Jason Pearl. This is the Company We Keep podcast, and I am super excited to be joining you today. This is going to be the first of many podcasts, and I've been thinking about launching a podcast for about 2 years. And finally, since everyone else is launching a podcast, I thought I would do the same thing. So super excited to have you guys with me today. Again, my name is Jason Pearl. Who am I and why do I have a podcast? Well, let's talk about that. Why do I have a podcast? My answer to that is why not? Everyone else seems to have one, right? So I figured I'd throw mine out there in the noise. But no, seriously, the reason I have a podcast is because I have a message and I have a platform that I want to share with the world. The Company We Keep podcast is going to be a business. It's going to be a life. It's going to be a little bit of everything podcast. But I'm really hoping that you listen, you take something from it, and you enjoy it. So this is episode 1 of many, and super excited to be with you today. I'm going to be riding solo on these podcasts for the first couple weeks, and then we're going to start bringing some guests in and sharing some of my network and some of my people to the world, and super excited to do that. But for the first few episodes, we're going to be riding solo. So that's why I have a podcast. So who am I? So my name is Jason Pearl. I am a husband to Tiffany, almost 16 years, married my college sweetheart. I've got 2 beautiful daughters, 13 and 9, an 8th grader and a 4th grader. And I am the president and owner of a company called Nager Consulting, which is a sales and growth consulting agency. I've been doing that for about 3.5 years, but I have been in the business world since as long as I can remember. I am a product of 2 self-employed parents that I like to say we're entrepreneurs before it was cool to say that you were an entrepreneur. My parents have successfully ran and either sold and operated 7 different businesses since the late 1970s. So they were hustling before the word was even there. They were doing their thing in business, and life for me growing up was all about family and business and how family and business kind of merged together. So dinner conversations for me was what happened in your day, what's going on at school, what's up with sports, and then we'd listen to mom and dad talk a little business, and we'd ask questions. And that's where the fire for business and family really started for me. People always ask me, what did you want to do in life? Have you always wanted to be a business owner? Have you always wanted to, own your own business or things like that? And the answer to that is pretty easy. The answer is yes. I've always wanted to do that. My 2 goals when I was a young kid, after I gave up the goals of trying to be a professional athlete, which did not come close to happening, I knew that God had gifted me with understanding business and understanding how the business world works and how to make things and people successful. So I had a passion really early on for that. But above that, my passion came from family. I grew up in a great home, loving parents, siblings, and it was great to be able to just be a part of a household that was able to mix both business and family. So really enjoyed living that way. And that's where my passion started to want to be in business, but also more importantly, have a family. My main goal was to find the right girl, get married, have kids, and then everything else would work itself out. As we all know, life doesn't work that way, but over a lot of time and toil, I figured out what my path was and where I should be. So that's where I'm at today. To give you a little background on who I am, again, I told you 2 self-employed parents, and they had businesses, and my whole goal was to grow up and get into the family businesses. But that's not always, God doesn't always design things that way. I thought it was going to be a really straight path to high school, to college, get a business degree, get into the family business, and just start making things happen. Not always that easy. My story is a bit different, but that's the wonderful thing about life, right? Everyone has their own story. Everybody has a past, everyone has a present, and everyone has a future. And whether it's business or life, how you attack that, how you get into that, and how you really embrace where you are and what happened to you in the past and where you want to go is the difference of what's going to make you successful or what's going to make you, stay in whatever situation that you're in. This podcast is speaking to those that want to continue to improve, that maybe you're already on top of the mountain, but want to just take that extra step. Or maybe you're in a spot somewhere in the middle where you're like, that you want to start making some changes and you want to improve, but you don't know exactly how to get there. This isn't a life coaching type of thing. This is basically like hey, this is what I did. This is what's going on in my life. This is who I surround myself with. And maybe you can identify, maybe it can help you. But either way, we're super happy that you're here with us. So going back to that straight line and what that straight line looked like for me to kind of get to where I'm at today was certainly very zigzagged. I went to high school, graduated high school, went to college, SUNY Geneseo Knights. Shout out to that SUNY school, great school. And then what happened is that when I was in college, my parents unfortunately got divorced and sold their businesses. So my dream of basically going to school, getting a degree, and walking out into this like cupcake job of helping mom and dad run businesses did not happen, right? Life zigzagged immediately in college, sophomore year. So I had to make some decisions. I had to make some choices. And I had to figure out professionally what I was going to do. For that short time when I was a young man, I thought my path was just to family business ownership. That didn't happen. So what do? I go big corporate, right? So I get a job right out of college working for Wells Fargo, spend my time there for about 10 years. Learn a ton working in the consumer finance side of things, and just got a really wonderful education on how business works at a really large level, on a global level, and did that for a little bit, 10 years to be exact. Then took another shot at another international bank, HSBC, did that for about a year and a half as a high-level sales consultant to high-performing branches. And then I was able, about 12 years into my professional career, to start making the path back to business ownership, right? Back to family business, back to the backbone of America and how businesses work, and was headhunted to take over the growth strategy, sales, and marketing for a family-owned financial services company. Did that, learned a ton there, was able to grow that business significantly, understand the ins and outs of how business works, certainly how a family business works, and then got some ownership in that business. When it was all said and done, 5.5 years in, things didn't work out. I did well, but you know what? The company vision and my vision were a little different. I wasn't family. They wanted to go in a different direction, and I wasn't in their plans in that direction based on what I was doing. About 3.5 years ago, I found myself, after having 17 years of a crazy good, successful career, trying to figure out, like, after I was parted ways with this new company, where do I go? What do I do? I have all this talent, I thought I knew exactly where I was going to go. And I found myself trying to figure out what my next step was. Well, if you know anything about me, and you'll learn more about me as this podcast goes on, faith and family are the most important things to me. So I took that time to be really reflective. And over the course of this time when I was working for this company, God was really stirring a lot of things in my heart. And basically, I had it in my head and in my heart that I was going to start my own business, and I was going to take my skill set, which is helping businesses grow, which is helping businesses generate more revenue through sales, through partnerships, through a number of different avenues. And I said, you know what? I've been helping banks and I've been helping these family businesses do it singularly. And now it's time for me to take my skill set, my gifts that God gave me, and bring them out into the world and try to start a business that's going to consult with firms, that's going to help them have more success than they're having today. Everybody has a skill set. This is mine. So I said, you know what? It was on my heart to do this. I started Naker Consulting in July of 2017, and I have not looked back. And that is something that I think is really important to share. We live in a world where entrepreneurship is really big right now. Startup culture is really big right now, but you have to be able to go all in. You have to be able to bet on yourself. And that's essentially what I did. I didn't want to go work for another company. I didn't want to grow another company and wait to see what my destiny was at that company. I wanted to make my own destiny. So that's just what I did. I started with no parachute, very little in savings, and 0 clients. And over the course of the last 3.5 years, I have built a business that has doubled in size every single year that I've been working in the business. And this year is no different. We're having crazy good growth, and we are seeing amazing results for our clients. Just a few highlights there. 5x the new revenue of a software company in under 18 months. Over 3x an established nutraceutical company in less than 30 months. 5x to service company in 12 months. And these are just some of the results that we've gotten for our clients. And I've been able to work on it. I'm super proud of all the work that we've done at Nacre Consulting to help these folks. And now the next step for me is continuing Nacre Consulting, but having this platform right here and talking to you guys wherever you're at, whether you're in your car, whether you're laying in bed listening to this podcast, wherever you are, this podcast is for you. If you're looking to grow yourself both personally and professionally, and you want some tricks of the trade of how to get there, that's what I'm here for. And that's why I decided to start this podcast, The Company We Keep. So moving on, one of the things that I am super excited about is being able to just reach people just like me. We all have a path. We all have a plan. But again, life zigzags. So whether you just listen to this podcast and you're a bit inspired, that's cool. Hopefully you learn something new. Maybe you feel compelled to reach out. I am doing this as a platform to try to reach out to more people, to create relationships, to create conversations, to create networks of people that believe that life and business can be molded together the right way to have success, right? Success isn't just making a ton of money. When I decided to give up the dream of being rich is when my life really started to change. Everyone thinks that money is going to be able to fix things. Money's great when you want to go to dinner and you want to go on a vacation and all that type of stuff. But they say the old adage, money is the root of all evil. If that's all you're focused on, if you're only focused on those material things, and yeah, you're probably going to run into some issues. For me, and what I believe to be true and the heart posture that I'm coming from on this podcast is that if you give up the dream of chasing money and status and titles, and you focus on what is going to make you successful, what is going to make you happy inside, outside, in your business, in your home, in your relationships, it starts with three main things. You need to understand that when you're ready to take the next step, whether it's yourself, whether it's you managing your team, whether it's you managing salespeople, the approach you need to take is you need to understand first what's going on in your head, what's going on in your heart, and what's going on in your household. Head, heart, house, okay? You need to get that right first for you. And then if you're a business owner, you need to then start applying that method to your people, right? You want to manage people effectively. You want to coach them up. You want to see success from them for you. You need to dive in to them. You need to understand what's up in their head, what's going on in their heart, and what their situation is in their house. If you understand that and you can make these people understand that you care about them, sky's the limit. People say, Jason, how'd you 5X a business? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? I'm not a magic maker. I don't make magic happen. I just deal with people and meet them where they're at. And that's what's so important about business. You have to meet people. It's business and life. Let's be honest. It's not just business. It's business and life. You have to meet them where they are at. And if you try to just shove goals or metrics or tasks down their throat, they're going to maybe do them. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're going to do them great one day. Maybe they're going to fail one day. But if you help light the fire in them, if you have a fire lit in yourself, sky's the limit. And that's what happens. People say, again, how do you get all these crazy good results? Well, there's a couple things. I'm discerning, number one, right? Again, I don't make magic happen, right? So if I meet with a business owner, he's like, Jason, I want to scale my business. I have all these ideas and all these thoughts, and I just want to scale. And I sit down with him and I start asking him about what his goals are, where he sees himself, and all these things. If he is selfish and all he or she wants is just money, and they want to burn and churn their people, and they don't really care who's doing it as long as it's not them and those people are making them money, hey, more power to you. If that's the world you want to live in, if that's the business you want to run, great. You know what? That's not my cup of tea. That's not how I work. That's not how I scale. And that's not how I want to teach people to have the success that I've been able to find. So it's really discerning the people you want to partner with. And it's not just the people you partner with in business. It's the people you partner with in your life. Are you married? Do you have a spouse? How's your relationship? What do you guys talk about? What are the areas that you need to work on? Are you a father? Are you a mother? What's going on in your household? How's your relationship with your kids? How do you communicate with them? If you're a business owner, how is your relationship with your cabinet or your C-suite or your partners, right? Or the people that you rely on to help you run your business? You have to build the right relationships to have the right success. You can do a ton of different things. You can read a bunch of management books, you can read a bunch of growth books, and you can try all these different methods. People working with people the right way is what makes magic happen. That's what makes the growth happen. I had a conversation with one of my really close friends going through a tough divorce, and he's got a kid and was really worried about what was happening with his kid. And I said to him one day, I said, ultimately, no matter what somebody else is telling your daughter about you, the only thing that you can control is how you make your daughter feel, right? If you make her feel safe, you make her feel loved, you make her feel happy, no matter what anyone says to that little girl, she's going to feel that about you. And your relationship is going to be good. But if she feels stressed, if she feels pitted against someone else, if she feels anger, that's the relationship that you're going to have. And that is just an example of what life is like and how business works. We can only control our actions and how we project to others. So no matter what, if you want to have success in life and business, you have to make sure and you have to care about how you make that other person feel, right? Now, I'm not saying that you have to be a cupcake when it comes to managing and driving goals and things like that. But what it means is that you have to understand, again, where they're coming from, their head, their heart, and their house, what's going on in their household. So if you do that and you approach it that way, how you make those people feel is going to be a direct result of what they produce for you. And that is really where it all starts. And there's a ton of other finer points with it, but that's the big idea of where we start. I think that as we start and we build this podcast and we build these series and in these episodes out, we're going to be talking about a lot of the finer points of that. But it's going to be business and it's going to be life, and it's going to be mixed in with a little bit of faith. Because again, my heart posture is coming from a guy that believes faith is above all, and then family, and then everything else. So business falls into that everything else. I'm having a really successful career, but because I prioritize the way I do, that's why I believe that success is coming, because I'm figuring out, most importantly, what I need to focus on and where my heart posture needs to be. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. This isn't, I'm not here to preach to you or anything like that, but this is what's worked for me and I want to share it with you guys. So that's kind of what's going on. And again, as we kind of finish things up in this first episode, I just wanted to make sure that you understood this is the basis, right? This is the foundation of where we are and where we're going. I want to introduce you to my network. I want to introduce you to some really talented people that I think can help you. And I want to introduce you to ideas and concepts that maybe aren't always the sexy concepts to talk about in the workplace. Maybe it's not always, that's not in every single book that you read that's a bestseller from the latest management guru or anything like that. I want to talk about how I've been able to generate success for 20 years managing people. Inside business and inside my life. And if I can help you, that's what I'm here for. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a revenue producing executive, right? So you're a CRO, CMO, VP of sales, right? All those things. This is a podcast for you. We want to talk to you. We want to help you find success. Some episodes may be more business driven. Some episodes may be more life driven. But ultimately, we want to get to the head, heart, and the house of the problem. We want to get into your world and understand what's going on with you by letting you into our world. So would love to have you listen. Again, episode 1 of many. How can you connect with me? You can connect with me a couple different ways. Launching my website, jasonmpearl.com. That's M as in Matthew. So you can connect with me there. You can shoot me an email at jason@jasonmpearl.com, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn, all over LinkedIn, on LinkedIn a ton. LinkedIn profile is linkedin.com/in/Jason M. Pearl. Would love for you to send me a message or a meeting request, and we'd just love to connect with you. This is a platform that, I'm speaking into a microphone, but what I want is after I'm done speaking in this microphone, I want there to be connection. I want there to be conversation. I want there to be fellowship, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. So if this sounds like it's something that you're interested in, or maybe you're just like, hey, dude, your first episode was all over the place. I don't even know what you're talking about. Shoot me a message. Would love to connect with you. Would love to have a further conversation, maybe so I could be a little more specific of how I may be able to help you. But either way, super blessed that you're listening. Really excited to be doing this. A couple years in the making, and just happy to have you listening and to be chatting with you. So again, thank you for listening to the first of many The Company We Keep podcast. I'm Jason Pearl, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you a lot more. So hopefully you connect, and hopefully you have an awesome day.